Who's also waiting out the rain out at the Speedway. Hey, before we get into all this track stuff, earlier on our pre-race show, you said that you wanted to sit down with Steph Curry and have dinner with Steph Curry. We were debating, do you think he'd take the mouthpiece out for dinner, or do you think that thing would remain in there during the meal?
He would for sure chew on it during it. He would chew on it, take it out for some food, put it back in, start chewing again.
There you go. So speaking of food, Jamie McMurray, every time we get in a rain delay situation, he always says, like, that's everything that they're doing. You guys are just eating food right now, just eating food. How do you sort of plan your rain delays, AJ?
I try not to eat a lot of food just for the mere fact that it's you can get yourself really full and not feel really good when you get in the race car, but overall, you just kind of sit it out. Yeah.
Well, God bless you for having that quality, AJ, because I think most of us just go and eat. I heard Justin Allgaier was eating Pop-Tarts. There's all kinds of hot dogs being consumed, all kinds of groceries. Listen, I want to talk to you a little bit about, we've talked about driver code. You were involved, obviously, with Ross Chastain in the Cup race, a little bit of bumper action between you two. But then last week we saw it with Ty Gibbs. And I feel like Ty has kind of developed a little bit of a reputation for being aggressive. It happened with Ryan Sieg at Vegas earlier this year. Just what is the perception of Ty from you and maybe from the other drivers in the series right now? Too aggressive, or is it acceptable?
Well, I mean, I think, Jamie, it's part of those. We're in a situation now in NASCAR where everybody's really aggressive. So, I look at it as however somebody races you, that's how you race them back. And you can decide on what they do and what they don't do. And basically, that's how you race them. So whether it's too aggressive or not, that's for each person to decide. And at the end of the day, if they do it to you, you got to do it back to them.
And here we are at Martinsville, of all places.
Yeah, right.
So, AJ, let's talk about Martinsville, because you have 7 top 10 finishes there in the Cup Series, including 2 second-place finishes. You finished top 10 in one of the Xfinity Series races there last year. What did you think the first time you turned a lap at that little half-mile track? And obviously you've embraced it pretty quickly.
Well, I mean, Larry, the first time I went to any NASCAR track, I thought, what in the heck am I doing here? It was Martinsville, Bristol, Darlington. I walked into Darlington. I was like, are we joking? Like, what is this racetrack? So I've had to learn at all these racetracks, because I wasn't a guy that ran a lot of ovals back in my open wheel career. But, I looked at Martinsville, that once I got used to it, it was closest thing to a road course as possible. So that's something that I've always enjoyed, the rhythm of it, the braking. So you just got to really kind of get into that situation, and then how you not overcook the brakes, overuse the rear tires. So it's a lot like a road course, and I've really come to enjoy it.
Yeah, that's my question, right? Because how many times we've heard about road course drivers, how they seem to adapt on this racetrack. Were you surprised at how easily some of those things transferred, and maybe some of the specifics that you're really good at that make you good here?
I mean, it was one of those things that right away I struggled with the racetrack, trying to figure it out. But once I got into the rhythm of, okay, what is, especially a Cup race, what is using up the brakes too much, and what is okay? What is okay early on in a run and too much late in a run? So once I got used to that stuff, it was something that I really kind of took to it, and I could kind of have my own style with it, and that's something that I've kept working on. And once you get in these Xfinity cars, it's a little bit different. So I feel like I'm continually working on it to try to be better.
AJ, there's always been a difference between the Xfinity cars and the Cup cars, but never a bigger difference than what we have this year. And you've actually run both on the same weekend for the 3rd weekend in a row now. Is it harder to go back and forth because of the differences now, or is it really not that much different?
Honestly, Jamie, it's with the way NASCAR does the scheduling now, where you're kind of in one car and you finish that, and then you go out in the other car and you do your practice and qualifying, and then you're done with that, and then you get back in like the Xfinity car tonight. It's not that hard. I think it'd be a lot more difficult, like in the past, where you jump out from practice and then you go right to qualifying, and then you go right back to the Cup car for the next practice, and so on and so forth. So it's not as hard as I feel like it could be. And they are a lot different of a race car, but so far the characteristics of how you drive the racetrack to a certain degree is still the same.
All right, we're hearing that track's getting dry out there, so we'll let you go, AJ. If it does continue to rain, we'll look for updates from Mr. Tickles, your cat, because I'm sure he's out there somewhere in the motorhome. So we'll get Tara on that.
Staying warm.
That's true. Tickles and Xena the Bulldog, they're in the motorhome. So if it keeps raining, I'm going back to them.
It sounds like a reality show in the making. AJ, thanks. Have fun out there today.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.